Hey, what's up guys, Impulse7 here, and today I'm bringing you guys another video. In this video, I'm recording at 1 AM, because why not? In this video, I'm going to be continuing my read-through of my second Fazbear Frights story ahead of time. This is my second story in the music box book, or my music box book, and as you can see, there was the first story that I just skimmed through, right? And then now I'm going to be continuing from where we left off. In the last video, I'll probably finish the story in this video, but it's not 100% guaranteed, but we'll see. So yeah, last time we left off right here. Make sure to check out the previous part if you haven't already, by the way. So yeah, let's just go on. Dwayne's alarm went off at 7 AM that morning. He had forgotten to turn it off last night. It was Thursday today. That is actually important, so keep that in mind. Alright. Before he stood up, he heard jumping around coming from downstairs. Everett. He always got up early to play a game, but today they were going to paint the weird-looking Chica. Dwayne still didn't understand how he'd lost a week of memories. He had still lived through them, but the entire thing with Chica was gone from his memory. He had no recollection of it whatsoever, and he didn't want to even get started on him being in a completely different house. Dwayne got out of bed, brushed his teeth, and headed downstairs. His son was in the kitchen eating cereal and staring at Chica. Dwayne was startled when he entered the kitchen and saw Chica. Yes, he knew she was still here, but that didn't make it any less creepy. "Hey, buddy," Dwayne said as he charged toward his son and into a big hug. Everett was overjoyed to see his father. "Hey, Dad," he said. "So when do you want to work on the Chica? Can we do it when we're both done eating?" "Sure. So can you start eating so we can start?" That made Dwayne laugh out loud. "Sure." Dwayne ate waffles for breakfast, and Everett finished his cereal. "Dad, have any of the cops you work with gotten shot before?" Why was he asking this? Why? I don't know. I'm just curious. Some people have gotten shot, yeah, but not usually. But when they do, it's usually not serious because we wear protective vests." "Okay." That's never mentioned again, by the way. I just threw that in there because it kind of foreshadows the ending where it's not really getting shot specifically, it's just getting hurt or dying. So yeah, it's just kind of foreshadowing, I guess. So yeah, Dwayne spent the rest of his day with Everett decorating the plastic Chica. They painted her shins yellow, leaving only her feet orange. Kelly went and bought a brand new bib, and they decorated it with more glitter and painted on words. This Chica no longer liked to eat, as evident by her slimmer body, so they instead wrote, "Let's party," on the bib. Kelly also bought a bunch of plastic googly eyes. Dwayne and Everett used the larger ones and painted them pink. Then they glued them to her cheeks to make it look like blushing. You guys can see where this is going, right? They're making this Chica into Toy Chica. Alright? So yeah. So yeah, they used the larger ones and painted them pink, and they glued them to her cheeks to make it look like blushing. They painted her eyes from purple to bright blue. Finally, they painted her waist pink to make it look like panties. That was Everett's idea, which made Dwayne slightly concerned, but it made him laugh nonetheless. Yeah, understandably, it made him laugh. It made him concerned. But yeah, Chica now looked more like a large action figure than animatronic, because she's Toy Chica. "Is there anything else we could do to make her look cooler?" Everett asked his father. Suddenly, a different thought entered Dwayne's mind. "Did you figure out how to use the weird phone?" "Yeah, I did. It's pretty cool. You could take pictures, download games, and stuff like that. It's even cooler than the arcades at Freddy's." Cool," Dwayne said, no longer paying attention. "What was this phone?" "We should put her in a school uniform." "What?" "We should put her in a school uniform," Everett repeated. Okay, why not?" You guys see where this is going? After a couple more hours of work, using Kelly's old high school uniform, a wig they painted yellow, and painting her fingers to look like fingernails, Dwayne and Everett finally finished making the toy-looking Chica into a high school student. Done! Suddenly, Chica started to twitch slightly. She twitched, and it became more and more aggressive. Before long, Chica was shaking hard. She shook her beak off. She shook until her beak fell off. She shook until her eyes fell out. She shook until she dropped her cupcake. Then it all stopped suddenly. A bright white glow emerged from Chica's empty eye sockets. She turned towards Everett. Then she swung her arm at him. Run! Dwayne and Everett ran as fast as they could away from Chica. Everett let out a high-pitched squeal, but they continued to run away. They ran and ran and ran. Chica hadn't chased them after they'd exited the home, but they still ran until they made it to Freddy's. Dwayne thought now would be a good time to question Afton now that they were at Freddy's anyway. Hey buddy, why don't you go play in the ball pit? The ball pit! And it's not just any random ball pit, it actually is the Into the Pit ball pit, as you kind of learn later on. Yeah, you'll see. Dwayne could tell, Everett frowned, but he lightly nodded his head. Dwayne could tell he was scared by what just happened. He was too. It all happened so fast. Dwayne looked at his watch. It was already 11:43 p.m. How is time passing so fast? He thought. Before Chica spazzed, Kelly had gone shopping for groceries, and once he remembered this, Dwayne breathed a sigh of relief, glad she had left when she did. William came out of the supply closet and noticed Dwayne waiting for him. He walked towards him and said, "Hello, officer. How you doing today?" "I'm doing fine, thanks. And please, call me Dwayne." "Alright, Dwayne, what can I do for you?" "Well, I got a case yesterday. It's already closed because it was murder and we found the killer already, but I thought to look into it some more. Some of the things in that house were strange, to say the least. I'm looking into the background of the victim." "Alright, well, what do you need me for?" "The victim was Darcy Smith. It's an alias, though. Not sure what her real name is, but what matters is she had a cousin, last name also Smith. But we can probably assume it's still an alias, too. Because, like, why would one person be named Smith, and then their cousin, but it'd be an alias, and then their cousin is also named Smith, and then that's just not an alias? That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, it's an alias for both of them. But yeah. Apparently, Dwayne handed Afton the file on Darcy Smith's cousin. He worked at an old Freddy's location. William grabbed the file and took a look at it. An alias, huh? Yeah. William looked intrigued. He quickly looked through the file. He looked up at Dwayne and paused for a moment. "I think I have an idea who this guy is." "You do? Are you gonna tell me?" It's a personal issue. I could be wrong. Mind if I look into it on my own?" So yeah, William Afton says it's a personal issue when a previous employee of Freddy's, whose name is Smith, is being investigated by the police. William Afton says it's personal. Who do you think Fritz is? Or sorry, god damn it, I just spoiled it, but you probably already knew anyway. Who do you think Smith is? Anyway, "William, I need as much information as I can get, and you'll get it, but only when I'm certain." Dwayne sighed before he said, "Fine, but is there anything you can tell me?" He was fired on his first day on the job. "Why?" He was tampering with the animatronics. And he stank. Well, thanks, I guess. Don't worry, if I find anything, I'll hand over any information I can get." William began to walk away, but he noticed someone in a security guard uniform walking towards him. William sighed. "Hi." The guard recognized Dwayne and pulled William closer. He spoke into his ear. "What are the cops doing here? Arresting you? You finally getting what you deserve?" "No, Mike. He's asking questions about you, Smith." Mike's eyes widened. He pushed William aside and walked over to greet Dwayne. "Dwayne Larson," he began. "It's a pleasure." "Mike Schmidt. I've heard a lot about you. Legend has it you're a damn good cop." Dwayne was surprised to hear this. "People know about me?" he wondered. No, thank you, but I don't think I'm the stuff of legend." He ended that comment with a slight laugh. Dwayne took a look at Mike and thought something was off about him, but he couldn't figure out what. And know before you ask, it was not that he was a rotting corpse. That had not happened yet. Jesus. Okay. "Don't be modest," Mike said as he reached out his hand to shake the officer's. Dwayne stretched his hand out and grabbed Mike's hand. Suddenly, he felt unimaginable pain. But it wasn't physical pain. What Dwayne had felt was the feeling of immeasurable pain and suffering attacking his mentality. He began to see flashes of something he couldn't make out at first, but as the seconds passed, the flashes lasted longer and longer until they weren't flashes. It was another vision regarding the mirror. Dwayne got out of bed. Where am I? He wondered. He had the feeling something had woken him up. He stood up and walked over to the front door. Dwayne walked as if he knew where he was going, but that was the thing. He didn't. Dwayne naturally opened the door and noticed a package. The box was very big, about the size of the box the mirror had been in during the vision he'd had the day before. Then a thought dawned on him. Is this the mirror? Dwayne grabbed the box and shut the door behind him. He walked into the kitchen and noticed a giant chick wearing a school uniform was sitting there, completely still. He noticed something sitting on the counter near him, an envelope marked "From Dad." Underneath that were the words, "Save her." What? So can you guys tell what this is supposed to say? That note from Dad, and this is Mike's memory. He's going through Mike's memory. His dad, Willie Mafton, left him a note saying, "Save her." Yeah, what do you think that is? This is, if this were canon, this would be confirmation that Sister Location takes place after FNAF 1. Haha, okay. But yeah, this isn't canon, so like, yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Anyway. Okay. Dwayne shuddered once he'd realized where he had been the past day. This world he was in right now had begun the moment he had touched Mike's hand. The house he hadn't recognized for the past day was Mike's house. But how did he know his way around the house right now? Dwayne thought back to the visions he'd been having the day before. Through all of them, one thing remained consistent. It felt real. It felt as if Dwayne was living through these experiences himself, or more likely, remembering them. It was like Dwayne was within a person's memory, but whoever's memory it wasn't his. The cell phone Dwayne had found was from a time far in the future. It belonged to someone living decades ahead of himself, and he'd retrieved it from that man's memory. But that's what made it scarier. If he was right about this, if he was living through someone else's memories, that man was dead. Alright. Everett jumped out of the ball pit with a large grin on his face. He started jumping in the air and yelling excitedly, "Dad! Dad!" He looked around the room. It was empty. Everett knew he was still in the party room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but no one was around. The room was dark and creepy. Everett looked at his watch. It was midnight. Before, it seemed like no time passed whenever he went into the pit, but now, almost 20 minutes had gone by without him knowing. Yeah, if you can't tell right now, Everett went into the ball pit, and he went back to 1985. That's basically what happened. Later on, it seems like Everett might die. As you can see right here, you'll see what that is. But yeah, it seems like he's gonna die, and we don't see anything from him again. Just keep in mind, he's Detective Larson from the Stitch Race stories, so he does survive. So yeah, he just went through a traumatic experience. That's it. Alright, so Everett began walking around and searching the restaurant. Nearby, he watched a camera flashing, facing towards Pirate's Cove. Slowly, the camera turned until it was facing directly towards Everett. Everett heard mumbling coming from a room down the hall nearby. He saw a light through a window in what seemed to be a security office. Hello? Oh wow, it's 1:35 a.m. The mumbling stopped. Everett narrowed his eyes. Curiosity got the better of him. Slowly, Everett made his way down the hall towards the office. He started quaking in his boots. Nonetheless, he continued to walk down the hall. When he made it to the office, he heard a door swing open behind him. He whirled around to see nobody was there, but the door leading into the supply closet he hadn't noticed before was open. Once he realized nothing was there, he turned back towards the office and peeked through the door. Inside, he saw men. One of them seemed to have brown hair and dark blue eyes. The other looked much older, and he seemed to have brown hair and silver eyes. Wait, silver? Was it possible to have silver eyes? Before he was able to figure it out, he heard something being knocked over behind him. He quickly turned around and saw no one. His eye was drawn again to the door into the supply closet. From the party room, he heard a deep voice laughing. From the other side of the restaurant, he heard pots and pans beginning to bash onto the floor. From the office, he heard one of the men inside mumbling a word Everett's mom and dad wouldn't allow him to say. Slowly, basically Mike was reacting to Freddy laughing. He was like, "God damn it! Well, Freddy's on his way." That's basically what's happening. Slowly, Everett walked towards the supply closet. As he took the final step needed to see inside, chills instantly shot down his spine. Standing inside the closet was the fan-favorite Freddy Fazbear's Pizza animatronic rabbit, Bonnie. Seconds after seeing Bonnie in the supply closet, the robotic rabbit turned his head away from the red flashing camera and towards Everett. Bonnie tilted his head to the left as if intrigued, then took a step towards Everett. Then another, and another, and another. Soon enough, Bonnie was running towards Everett, and Everett was running just as fast, if not faster, away. Everett's eyes had adjusted to the darkness, so now when he ran through the party room, he noticed when he passed Freddy Fazbear laughing in a deep voice. The original Chica walked out of the kitchen. All three animatronics followed Everett as he ran towards the exit. He slammed into the door, frantically trying to open it, but it wouldn't budge. He turned around to see where the animatronics were, and if they were close, but instead, he saw something he didn't know if he could shake. This part, if this was canon, this would confirm Golden Duo, alright? Behind him, Everett saw a bear animatronic sitting on the ground, slumped over. The bear was similar to Freddy Fazbear himself, but instead, this bear was colored golden. Sitting all around the slumped bear were pools and pools of blood. Worse, buried deep in the golden Freddy's dark, dead, vacant eyes sat two white spots. Pinpricks, really. Barely visible. That's actually a quote from Game Theory that I just included in here because it actually fit pretty well. Soon after, a voice started mumbling, but it was speaking too quickly to be understood. But none of that was the worst part. Everything was bad enough to scare Everett, yes. Everett didn't get scared easily, but this robotic golden Freddy was enough. But no. The worst part about this bear was standing behind it. A kid a few years older than Everett with eyes rolled back into his skull. He wore a striped shirt and blue shorts. The bite victim. It's basically saying that this kid is the bite victim, or the book equivalent of the bite victim. But, here, right here, the kid had blonde hair and seemed to be fading in and out of existence. Blonde hair. Kelsey. This is basically saying that Kelsey, if this were canon, this would say that Kelsey is a bite victim parallel. And what we see next, that would confirm Golden Duo. So yeah. And also this other thing even further proves that this is the bite victim here. Just like the Golden Freddy, he was mumbling something very fast. It took Everett some time to realize the words the kid was saying were 10 years, it's me. It's me, obviously being Golden Freddy's signature line, meaning Kelsey is a part of Golden Freddy. And 10 years, because this story takes place in 1993. And in the games, the Bite of 83 took place in 1983. So yeah. 10 years, it's me, being repeated over and over and over again. Suddenly, the blonde-haired kid Suddenly, beside the blonde-haired kid appeared another kid. This one seemed to be around age 7 or 8, and had an angrier expression on his face. His eyes were exactly the same as Golden Freddy's, completely empty except for two tiny white spots. This young boy had curly black hair. What seemed to be an alligator mask lay at the boy's feet. Obviously, this is Andrew, if you guys couldn't tell. Like Golden Freddy and the other boy had been doing, this boy was continuously mumbling something really fast over and over again. This boy was repeatedly saying the word revenge. The voice of the young boy sounded very faded. That's supposed to say that Cassidy is the faded text in the logbook, by the way. Because his voice sounded faded. Anyway, after the kids appeared, Golden Freddy stopped moving. He was now just a static bare figure. Freddy, Bunny, and Chica walked towards Everett from behind the kids and Golden Freddy. The animatronic pirate fox ran in. Everett tried opening the doors again, but it still wouldn't budge. There was only one thing left that he could do. Everett looked back at the animatronics. Freddy laughed again. Bunny and Chica groaned. Foxy sang and made pirate sounds. The two children disappeared and Golden Freddy became active once again. Everett smashed the window behind him and ran. As he was running, he turned back one last time to see all the animatronics had disappeared. As he turned back in the direction he was running, what he saw in front of him made his stomach churn. It was the high school toy Chica. "Dear Diary," Everett screamed. And that's the last we see of Everett, but he is alive. Just keep that in mind. Dwayne woke up to a ringing in his ears. This made it hard to understand what the voices around him were saying, but after a couple of minutes, it became clear. "Well, what do you want to do, Dad? You're gonna kill him like you did the others?" Mike yelled at William. "I don't know. What the hell else would you suggest?" William Afton sounded less like the business manager for Freddy's and now more like a deranged psychopath. "Nobody ever had to die, and neither does he. All of them did." Afton was now screaming at the top of his lungs. He took a breath, then calmly said, "I never killed anyone without a reason." He continued breathing heavily. Dwayne suddenly realized what he was hearing, but he also realized that he may not be alive to tell the story. "Is that what you told yourself when you killed my best friend?" "It wasn't like that." "Well, then what was it like?" "You're such a damn hypocrite. You're just as bad as me, and you know it." William was getting angrier again. Dwayne began quivering. William and Mike seemed to take notice of this and shot him a glance. Mike kept an eye on Dwayne as he responded to William. "That was an accident." "Like hell. You murdered 5 kids, including my best friend. Because of what you did, he's stuck right over there in Pirates Cove, forced to watch and entertain the kids he used to be one of. All of this because of you. Don't try throwing the blame back at me. It's all on you, and you alone." So here we basically get more information on the MCI kids, and this is basically telling us that the kids in the FNAF 4 minigames that we pass on our way back home, on the Crying Child passes on the way back home, those are all the MCI kids, including the Laughing Kid, who also seems to be the Freddy bully, right? Yeah, he also seems to be the Freddy bully. And the Freddy bully is obviously one of Mike's friends, because they're all the bullies, right? Mike is the Foxy Mask bully, and the Laughing Kid is the Freddy Mask bully. So, this is basically telling us that that bully was Fritz, and Fritz is obviously Foxy. So yeah. Let's go. Let's continue. Dwayne cleared his throat. "Damn it," Mike said. "Here, get up, man." Mike reached out his hand to help Dwayne get up. Dwayne grabbed Mike's hand and was pulled off the ground. He looked around. He seemed to be in a security office. There was a poster on the wall, a bunch of drawings, and a camera feed was playing on a monitor. There was also a desk fan, spider webs, garbage, and lockers at the back. So what was I hearing just now? William looked at Dwayne with a stern gaze. "I killed the kids." Dwayne quickly shot his gaze back towards William Afton. "What kids?" "The missing kids." Suddenly, everything made sense. Why couldn't they find the bodies? Because William Afton, the owner of Fazbear Entertainment, knows the perfect place to hide them. And then suddenly, it clicked. He knew where the bodies were. After the conversation he had just overheard, he knew exactly where the children's dead bodies were. By the way, these are the 2 last pages. They're in the suits. William nodded lightly. Dwayne knew he had to get out of here. He had to get out and expose William Afton as a killer. But that meant he had to run. Running footsteps shot down the left hallway and towards the office. Mike quickly jumped for the door button and slammed down. Groaning came from the right, where Chica was standing in the window. Mike smacked his hand onto that door button as well. The door landed with a thud. "What's happening?" Dwayne asked. He heard banging and scratching coming from the left door and tapping on the window on the right. The animatronics, they... Mike stopped to take a breath. They come to life at night. What? The children's spirits live inside them, William told him. Dwayne knew he had to get out of here before he was William's next victim, but now there was no way out, except one. Dwayne jumped onto the desk. Worried it may buckle under his 190 pounds, he worked quickly. What the hell are you doing? Mike yelled. Dwayne kicked the window on the left side of the office and slid through. Where do you think you're going? William screamed at Dwayne. Dwayne whirled around to find Foxy the pirate fox bashing on the door. The fox tilted its head and began to run after Dwayne. Dwayne sprinted away from Foxy as fast as possible, but it wasn't enough. Foxy caught up to him quickly. With his metal endoskeleton hand, the fox animatronic grabbed Dwayne by the throat and held him up until his head touched the ceiling. Foxy grinded his hook on the wall. Before he even knew it hit him, Dwayne's chest was leaking with blood, and Foxy held up his bloody hook to Dwayne's face. Dwayne grabbed Foxy's hook and directed it towards Foxy's face. Like, basically, he grabbed Foxy's arm and, like, hit Foxy in the face with it. Like, stop hitting yourself, you know. He fell to the floor as Foxy was knocked into the supply closet. Dwayne quickly stood up and slammed the door. He limped as he walked, but he continued on anyway. Dwayne tried to make it to the exit, but when he made it there, Freddy, Bonnie, and a golden-looking Freddy were blocking the exit. Instead, he limped his way to the right corridor where the bathrooms were. William opened the door and ran out of the office towards Dwayne. He ignored the animatronics at the entrance as he knew they would primarily be after him. He entered the bathroom corridor where he saw Dwayne, frantically searching for a place to hide. William charged at Dwayne and broke through the wall. Behind this wall was a secret room. Dwayne was bleeding around his torso, his legs, his lips, and his eye had been bruised. Dwayne looked around for a weapon to defend himself when he noticed a knife on William's belt. He tried to reach for it, but William got to it first. He grabbed the knife and held it to Dwayne's neck. Dwayne was able to see what had been behind William, Golden Freddy. He was able to grab the knife and pull it away from his own throat. Dwayne grabbed the knife and instantly stabbed William directly in the thigh. Behind William, Golden Freddy's white dots in his eyes began glowing. One eye faded away as William's thigh instantly healed completely, and the knife just shot out of the leg and clattered to the ground. William managed to kick William in a painful area. I think you guys can guess where. William was pushed away from Dwayne, and so he took a chance. He searched around the room for salvation and found a golden rabbit animatronic hidden behind the arcade machines. While William was distracted, Dwayne pulled the rabbit out from behind the arcades. His initial instinct was to hide inside, but he wasn't sure that was possible. He turned it around, searching for a way to get it on. He'd found it. On the back of the animatronic were locks that could be clipped on or off. He clipped them on and started climbing inside the suit. Finally, the head. Dwayne grabbed the head of the animatronic rabbit and stuffed it onto his head. William had finally been able to stand up, and when he did, he looked at the locked suit and laughed. You thought that would save you? No. William pulled out what seemed to be a bomb detonator, and with the press of a button, a hole was in the ceiling. The thunder rumbled, and the rain poured harder and harder onto the ground. Puddles fell onto the floor and grew larger and larger with every passing second. The pouring rain seeped into the hidden room and dripped into the golden Bonnie. And that's it. So yeah, guys, that was ahead of time. I hope you all enjoyed this story, and I'm actually going to do a sequel to this one as well, titled Spring, later on, which will basically be about William, and in the Follow Me minigames from FNAF 3. That's basically what it's going to be about, and how he became Springtrap. To be clear, Dwayne did get spring locked, but he's not Springtrap. Okay, just remember that. William later on takes the body out or whatever, you know, and then he gets in himself. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on the video, and if you like my other videos, please do consider subscribing. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Impulsive out, and peace.